Hey, good afternoon, everybody. This is Eric with American Business Systems. I hope that your year has started off with a great success so far. I know that it has for us, and so we want to hopefully be able to share a little bit of that success with some of you this afternoon. So appreciate you joining me this afternoon. Today we're going to be talking about the training here, the training program here at American Business Systems. I'm going to be going in a pretty in-depth survey of our training. So hopefully you've come to prepared to ask some questions and enjoy the time that we get to spend together. So as we've always said in the past, I always like to talk to folks that are looking to get started in the business, and we may ask some questions of you as we kind of go through the process this afternoon. So appreciate again that you joining us here this afternoon. Got a few folks on here already. I'm sure there'll be some more people that'll be joining us here in just a moment, but feel free to kind of kick back and enjoy the next hour. I'm going to go over a little bit of introduction of who we are here at American Business Systems. Looks like the people that I see on here, I don't think I've ever recognized you. So maybe this is your brand new at looking into this. So if you got some questions, I'm going to direct you over to where the Q&A box here is in just a moment, and just tell me where you're located, and that'll be very helpful for me as we kind of go through the process today. Again, today's topic is, why is the ABS training program better than others? We're going to go over pretty much in detail about what medical billing is, what it's not, who's responsible for medical codes. We'll be going through all of that this afternoon. So again, if you got some questions you want to ask me as we go through this today, feel free to pipe on in there in the Q&A box. Again, like I said, my name is Eric Auger. I'm the Director of Learning and Engagement. So that's why you got me on the front end over here on the webinar. So I appreciate you joining me in here. Got Scott that just joined us here. Shuba, hopefully I said your name correctly. I got AKM. And so folks, if you would find the Q&A box, just go over there, just type in hello. Maybe you can tell me where you're located. I'd be happy to kind of know where you're located. And again, this is where you'll be able to communicate with me this afternoon. As we get started here, I always like to do a little introduction, because some of you may not know this, but Adam Phillips is our CEO of American Business Systems. He's been at the helm for the last 5-6 years. He's doing a great job with he and his staff. Adam is also a contributor. When he writes some articles, he's writing articles for a billing and coding magazine, and it's called the Billing and Coding Advantage magazine. He's written several. He's working on some more right now to put in there, but the most recent one, there's a couple of recent ones that I'm going to share with you, but the one in the shrinking private practice, why doctors are struggling today, and he's answering that question, why billing expertise can be a lifeline. Now, he's writing this not to people like you. Guess who he's writing to? He's writing to doctors. And so these articles can actually be helpful whenever you're doing your marketing out there. He has also wrote, and by the way, if you'd like to get a copy of this article, number one, if you have an opportunity, you can screenshot this screen if you'd like. If not, I'm going to direct you several times to your sales rep that you're working with here at American Business Systems, and they'll make sure that you get a copy of this article. Adam also wrote an article back in 2024, yes, folks, about AI, the advancements of AI in healthcare, very specifically in medical billing and in medical coding. Obviously, the big question is always, will this overtake anything in medical billing? I remember having dinner with some folks just last week, and the topic came up. He says, well, Eric, I know that you kind of still do some of this stuff in medical billing. Are you afraid of AI? And I said, absolutely not. It's actually a big help for everything that we're doing in healthcare. And so, as you kind of look into it, and let me share with you, because I count everybody that's on here today as entrepreneurs. You have a CEO mindset, you're thinking as an owner, and you want to have every advantage at your fingertips, especially if you're brand new into this. You're going to find that artificial intelligence is extremely helpful, making sure that you've got the right codes that you're working with. And matter of fact, in our software that I'll be talking about here in just the 2 more seconds, you'll find out that it's extremely helpful. Adam's also wrote a book entitled 9 Ways Doctors Let Money Slip Through Their Fingers. Now, he co-wrote this book with someone that we're associated with pretty heavily. That's Dr. Vicki Rackner. Dr. Rackner, matter of fact, I've got just found out a couple of days ago that I'm going to be interviewing her in February. Now, this is a retired general surgeon, been in practice for over 35 years. She's got an incredible story about utilizing outsourced billing companies like yourself. I'll be interviewing her. But if you'd like to get a copy of this book, since you joined me on the training webinar today, why don't you get a copy of this? And let me tell you how to do that. It's not going to be the actual book. Now, these are real books that can be purchased on Amazon. I'm not here to sell any books to you. I'm here to give away something to you. But we do have a PDF copy of that. So if you'd like to get a PDF copy of that, you can certainly, again, ask your sales rep. Tell them that Eric sent you over there to get you a PDF copy of Adam's book. Also, Adam started an organization, helped found an organization about 10 years ago called MIRMA. MIRMA is the Medical Revenue Management Association of America. It's one of the largest independent medical billing groups out there in America, associations out there. It'll be this particular group here that will actually certify you as a certified medical revenue manager. So if we're going to be talking about what you're going to be learning to actually get that certification. So that's what we're going to be addressing here today. But MIRMA is an organization that's been out there, like I said, a little over 10 years. Once you've completed your training and they certify you, then you'll have the permission to use the MIRMA logo. That actually kind of helps direct people and show your credibility and what your credentials have been. All right, one thing I'm pretty excited, Adam sent this to me this last week through Jason Pettit, and this was found just here recently that iClaim, which is driven, the guts of it is by an organization called NextGen. Now, NextGen's been around for an extremely long time, but you can see here that the NextGen Healthcare's practice management solution, which is what iClaim is ranked #1 in the new report from Black Book Market Research. That just came out here just in January 15th. So just 7 days ago that came out there. So if you'd like to get a copy of this and know where to go find this, you can just go out there and just type in NextGen Healthcare Practice Black Book Market Research if you'd like to, and go find this article out there. But health tech is recognized as one of the highest rated EHR vendor for cardiology, for CHCs and CAQFs, FQ8Cs. I'm sorry about that. Internal medicine, sleep medicine, pulmonology. Folks, this is covering all types of practices out there. So iClaim and EMRx is a dual platform that is a practice management system, and it is also a electronic medical records platform, and it has, guess what, AI built inside of it. So when you're researching and you're trying to find stuff, you want to make sure that things are done properly. Our billing platform already has artificial intelligence built in there already. All right, now I had one person put up there that they're from California. So Shuba, thank you for answering me there. I appreciate it. Hopefully everybody else can hear me. Barry, Latanya, Scott, the rest of you. If you don't mind, just type it in there that you can hear me, and plus, if you got any questions throughout the program today, feel free to pop in there with a question or two, and I'll do what I can do to help answer that question. All right, so here's what I want to do with you today. Pretend that you've already started with American Business Systems, and this is your first bit of training. And so what I've done here, you'll find out here that there are 10 modules in our training class. And so Barry, thank you. I appreciate the feedback there, sir. This is part of your training that you're going to get. And one of the things I thought today, what I'd like to do is just kind of take you on a little tour of what you would be learning in the first training class. Now, I'm not going to teach you, as we would if we were in the training class, but I do want to show you some of the highlights, some things that you would learn. Now, as you can see here, the American Business Medical Billing Training is a system in which has been perfected over the years. ABS has been in business for over 30 years. We used to do training here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area about every 6 weeks or so. Everybody that was a brand new business owner with American Business System, we'd make sure that you could fly on in here, and you'd stay at a hotel, and you'd be there for 5 solid days. Monday started at 7 o'clock in the morning. You'd go till 5 o'clock in the afternoon, and by the time Friday rolls around, you've done all 10 modules within 5 days. What we've done differently now, we've slowed it down a little bit, and we've extended even our guarantee back, as you'll see here in a little bit, that lasts the entire 30 days. So you're going to get training that's going to take you about 2.5 weeks to complete. Some of those modules I'll share with you today about how that goes, and you can ask me some questions through there. AKM is from Atlanta, so I appreciate you dialing in there and letting me know that. Okay, so the first thing that I want you to know that you're going to learn is an acronym called RCM. So if you want to write that down, RCM. Now, some of you already may know what that stands for already, but if you don't, let me tell you, this is something that you need to be really tuned into, because if you try to go talk to a doctor and you tell them that you're going to you're opening up a medical billing business, or you're starting a new business in medical billing, or you're telling people that you're going to be a part of medical billing, that's just one part of what RCM is all about. RCM stands for Revenue Cycle Management. And so take a snapshot of this if you'd like to, screenshot this if you like. A matter of fact, if you'd like the whole presentation, again, you can get back with your sales rep and they'll print you out a PDF copy of this so you can have for yourself. All right, so let's get back to the revenue cycle management. There's 5 steps in revenue cycle management. You know, whenever you're talking with a particular doctor and you're getting engaged with them, you can tell them that you're a certified medical revenue manager in revenue cycle management. Now, that sounds so much better than if you just said, hey, I just got a degree as a medical, I went to a technical school to become a medical biller. Now, again, if you want to become just a medical biller, you can go to those schools. It'll cost you about the same investment that it costs you to get in here. But remember, all you're doing is getting a certification. And if you saw the webinar I did last week, I actually showed you what the average medical biller who works for one doctor makes a year. That's about $56,000, maybe as high as $60,000 a year. Well, think about that. What if you could make that money on multiple doctors doing their work? And that's basically what you're going to be making. What you would make working for one doctor in an office, you could make working from home with about 2.5 hours worth of work, which gives you opportunities that you could do more than one doctor in a day. You can multiply that times 2 to 3, maybe even out to 4. And you can certainly see that if you're making at least a minimum of $50,000 a year with one doctor, with just 2 doctors, you're going to be a 6-figure income. 3, definitely you're going to be there. So, but let's talk about revenue cycle management. These are the 5 steps of revenue cycle management. First of all, there's data collection. It's actually getting the patient registration. One of the beautiful things about our iClaim platform, I'm gonna go back over here to this. Through iClaim, through NextGen NextGen is white labeled, or iClaim is white labeled the NextGen healthcare practice management solution. So that inside of it has everything that you're going to need to capture patient data. It starts with a very unique way of capturing patient registration. Folks, if you know, when you go to the doctor, what do? They're going to ask you for your driver's license and your health insurance card, right? And then someone has to physically go in there and type all that information out. All right, so here's the difference between what our system does. I'm going to pull this up over here so I can see myself. What the difference is what if you, instead of typing out the entire first and last name and the date of birth and all that information, what if you typed in just the patient's health insurance record in the iClaim system, do a search on that, and then make sure that you got the right person and they're still eligible with maybe Blue Cross Blue Shield or Medicare or Aetna, whatever. And then with one more click of a button, populate the entire database that needs to happen for that patient, which can include the first name, the last name, their street address, their date of birth, all the particulars. Folks, that's the best way to do it, because if you get the wrong patient's name or you mistype some information and you don't check insurance eligibility at first, our system actually does that automatically. A lot of systems don't do that. And that's all part of the AI programs that are already built inside of it. So just getting that started off right now is revenue cycle management, because if you get started wrong, you never get to number 5. So, okay, so that's on patient registration. And then you start to prep claims. Once you got that, then you're going to go to claims transmission. So you're going to actually submit the claims. Our iClaim system is, again, through some AI technology, is going to verify that that is a clean claim. How about that? Then it's going to check all the procedure codes, the diagnosis codes, and I'm going to share what all that is in a moment. Number 3, revenue cycle management is claims management. It's watching for the downloads, the ERA downloads. Did you have to send it electronically, or did you get the information back through paper? And then the payment postings, just posting payments is part of that. Because more postings that you make, guess what happens? The more money you get to bill for at the end of the month, percentage-wise. Then AR, you want to do all of your accounts receivables follow-up. Or is there a secondary claim that you need to file for? If there is a claim that gets denied, what are you going to do? This is where denial management and appeals happens by humans, not by AI. This is number 4. Between number 3 and number 4 is why AI could never take over full revenue cycle management. You just can't. You just can't, and it never will, because you still have to deal with people. You have to deal with the doctor personally. The doctor's not going to talk to some AI robot. You're going to have to talk with somebody personally there at the insurance company to find out why the claim might have been denied or whatever else, and work through that process. That's called denial management appeals. And then lastly, you're going to do the reporting. You're going to create your reports. You're going to send out your invoice. You're going to get yourself paid, do any reports that the doctor wants to do, and you start the whole process over again. So you can see this is why we certify you as a certified medical revenue manager and not just a certified medical biller, because you're going to take so much more of the revenue cycle management than just doing that. Okay, Scott's going, where can we find the article about AI you showed us earlier? You can get a copy of that from your sales rep. They'll get you a copy of that. Matter of fact, I think Adam and I are working on some new material on the AI, what's going on with AI in healthcare. But I can tell you right now, Scott, that AI is actually an incredible help to a lot of our current business owners right now. All right, I'm going to get to the next part of it here. This is just basic stuff. Now I'm going to take you on what is the difference between a medical coder and a medical biller. One thing that you're not going to become is a medical coder. And hopefully you're going to become more than just what a medical biller is. So one of the things that a lot of people that you may be talking to about, you told them that you might get started in the medical billing, or you found this business opportunity in medical billing. Change your vernacular a little bit from medical billing to a revenue cycle management specialist. Okay, that's just one of those things there. It's going to help you out there. You can tell them that you never have to worry about becoming a coder. Why is that? Because again, our iClaim platform that I'm going to keep kind of going back to today actually has all the codes in it. And as you're putting in the information, it will make sure that you're processing the right codes, especially because there's diagnosis codes that are very male, female specific. Okay. And if you're putting in a diagnosis of something that would be related to a female versus a male patient, obviously that claim's not going to get paid. All right, so it checks that. So it's going to check the sex of the patient. It's going to make sure that those diagnoses are proper. And so that's very, very important. But being a medical coder, you don't have to do that, because what coders would do is that they're working for a doctor. And if a doctor, especially whenever I mentioned to you, like Dr. Vicki Rackner, who was a surgeon, she's doing surgery. She doesn't have time to sit down there with her notepad and make notes of what she's doing during a surgery. What is she doing? She's talking it out. So it creates a transcribed way that someone's going to transcribe that out to a note, and then from a note to codes. All right, so, but most doctors are not doing that. And the pulmonologist doctors, the cardiologist doctors, internal med doctors, the doctors that you go see regularly, they're not doing that. Matter of fact, I went and saw an allergist today, and he's typing out stuff as he's going through his notes there and coding everything as he's finishing up that particular visit with us today. But a medical biller, what they're going to do is once they get that information from the doctor or from the coder, they're actually going to put it into a practice management system to process a claim and then submit that claim. That's what a medical biller does. So you can see, as a certified medical revenue manager, part of your job will be doing medical billing. That's not everything that you can be doing, but that's part of it. All right, so let's talk real quickly about medical codes, okay? Because there's only two types of medical codes that are out there. So I'm really kind of trying to take the myth of the fear of medical coding kind of away from everything, but that's out there. But basically, medical coding is simply turning words into numbers. I've already mentioned that, taking the doctor's notes and turning them into numbers. These codes include two types of codes, okay? The first one is what's wrong with the patient. It's the diagnosis code. It's why you went in. I went for stuffy sinuses, or I went for heart palpitations, or I had an ingrown toenail, or I had a pain in my knee, or I had a pain in my gut, or whatever it might be, or I've got this rash. That is a code, okay? I don't remember all the codes. That's why I let the system do what it does there. But there's that code there. That's the first code that you're going to have before you process a claim. The second claim code that you're going to need to complete the claim is what's called a procedure code. This is basically, what did the doctor do for the patient? If they came in for a cough, this is the procedure that I did for them. I spent 15 minutes with them. I went through head to toe. I listened to their chest. I did this. I did all of that. Another procedure code may be that I ended up giving them an injection of a steroid shot or something like that, or a B12 shot, or I had to take a small biopsy off of a skin lesion or something like that. Those are procedures. So every time a doctor is doing something for the patient, that becomes another procedure code. And it's the procedure code that's actually linked to how much the doctor gets reimbursed. If they spent 5 minutes with the patient, that's going to be a very low 99211. If the doctor spent, a good 30 minutes with the doctor, it might be a 99215. It just depends. Obviously, the higher it goes, and it just goes through 1 through 5 anyway. So the 99211, the one before the other one is meaning that it's an established patient. If there was a 99201, the 0 indicates that's a new patient, which is obviously, again, a little bit higher reimbursements. But and again, you only have two types of patients. You either have new patients or you have existing patients. That's how it comes out in the procedure codes. Now, if there's other procedures that happen, again, like the injections, or did some type of therapy in the office, or did, like I said, did a biopsy in the office, or did some other type of medical procedure in the office, then the doctor can charge for that. And that's how the doctor gets reimbursed. But let me tell you, kind of wrapping up here on the whole thing of coding, and tell you who's responsible at the end of the day for the codes. It's not you as the revenue cycle management. It's not even the medical coder. It really is the doctor's responsibility to provide the medical codes to the billing company. That's it. And that's why you don't have to really worry about it. But if you can still have any concern, this is what I'd like for you to do. When you get through with the webinar today, and if you get a chance to get back with your sales rep and ask them to explain a little bit more to you about CodeWrite. Now, CodeWrite is one of the many services that we have that is at your disposal to talk to your doctor about. So one of the things that and I've used this before, I've used this line out there before, whenever I've gone out there and I'm marketing, or I've been invited to visit with a doctor because through some marketing technique that I was able to use, and I got an audience with the doctor may say, "Hey, Eric, Do you, as a revenue cycle management company, do you have coders on staff? And my answer, without blinking an eye, is absolutely yes. I've got folks that can do all the coding if you need specific coding. But my question back to them was, how often do you need coders? And usually they go, well, not too much because I keep doing the same procedures over. Now I will tell them that at that point, now my coders can also do an audit. So if you'd like to do some preemptive maintenance and making sure that you're not what's called overcoding, which means that you're charging too much with the potential of that insurance company asking for that money back. That's called a clawback. Or worse yet, that you're undercoding. Your notes has established yourself at a certain rate, but you're afraid for these clawbacks. So instead of charging the insurance company for that particular patient procedure, you're not charging enough. So doctor, if you'd like to, what we could do is do a spot check on, maybe 10 to 20 of your charts. And let's just do a chart review to make sure that you are coding properly. So how about we do that? That actually has got me business to not only to do the doctor's billing, but it also got me some business to get the audit chart to get done. So but anyway, with all of that said, I'm here to hopefully tell you at this point that ABS is here to train you at every step of the way. So this next slide that I'm going to bring out, if you'd like to, if you don't have a chance to ask your sales rep real quickly about getting a copy of this, if you got a way to take a screenshot, you might want to take a screenshot of this next slide. Here are the 10 modules that you're going to be going through, okay? Now, I'm not going to go through every single one. We're almost at the bottom of the hour, and I want to make sure that I leave enough time to go over any of your questions that you might have. But in Module 1, now I will say this. Let's just look at this from a kind of a big scope part of it. I like to look at these as two major columns of your business. The first column on the left-hand side is to help you establish, what are your products, who you are, how you need to get set up. If you need to get set up as an LLC or a C Corp, we're going to go through all of that information with you and help you get started there, even help you choose your name, get your website set up, and all of that's going to be. So think of everything on the left-hand side of this slide, modules 1 through 5, is just business startup. Getting to know who you are, what your products are, how to talk about your products, know how they work inside and out. That's modules 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. On the second side, column number 2. So this is kind of keeps that stability here. You got two major columns to help support your business. Module 2 is obviously how to get the doctor. Now, let me pause here for just a second. When you go to a training class to learn how to become a medical biller, a lot of what you're going to learn is what you would see in column 1. That's why you're just able to do really basically one thing. They never teach those folks how to go out and market themselves. They never go out there and teach those folks how to actually expand. Obviously those folks could just simply go work for themselves and go get their own doctors. But that's not what they do, but this is what we do. And this is how we support you. And you're going to have a lifetime of support with us and us helping you not only learn your products and be there along the way to help you get established. And if a doctor's ready to start on iClaim, we're going to help you walk your way through it. Or again, in Module 4, Audit Guard or CodeWrite, which is what I just kind of went through with you there. In Module 4, you can tell the doctors that if they need some HIPAA compliancy things, we're going to be able to help them and handhold them through the whole process. But it's really Module 6 through 10 that helps engage you now as that CEO minded, knowing that I've got to get a doctor. And I know that ABS is going to help me, and they're going to handhold me through this. And this is the first little bitty steps that you're going to be taking. You're going to go through an introduction to marketing, how to start building a warm market, what I like to call your warm market. I was talking with another buddy of mine the other day. It's really people who are in your business orbit. Okay. Now, whenever I get to the topic, not today, but in the next couple of weeks, whenever I get on the topic of how we're going to help you get your first client, you're going to learn a lot out of just that webinar, some things that we already teach in module 6 and 7 anyway. But you need to start thinking right now as if you're owning a medical billing company or a medical revenue cycle management company today, and start thinking, who are the people in my business orbit that would actually help me be able to build this out? If you don't know who that is, again, I'll go over that in another webinar with you at another time. But in module 7, it's about business networking, the marketing books. One of the marketing books that you can absolutely utilize is Adam's book, 9 Ways Doctors Let Money Slip Through Their Fingers. That's why I'm offering everybody on the webinar today a free digital copy of that, because I want you to start to understand, and I want you to be able to feel like that you came to this webinar and you're getting more than just someone talking to you. We're really here to help educate you. If we can give it to you at no cost, that's what we're doing, because we see you as an investment of what we're doing here as well. But that's what these marketing books and the ebooks can be about. Module 8 is marketing with sales reps, how to hire sales rep, how to use referral partners, marketing via classified ads. You can actually post who you are through Indeed. Think about that, folks. I just kind of gave a little secret there. All right, lead management. How do you work the leads that you're working through? How to do a follow-up processes properly. Module 9 is the practice analysis questionnaire. Folks, you don't have to know if I had however many people are on here, if I had a doctor for each of you, and I just said, you know what? I've got a doctor for Barry. I've got one for Latanya. I'm not going to go through the whole list, but you get what I'm saying. And then what I would tell you is, and I'm going to pick on Latanya here. Let's say that Latanya, I tell her, okay, Latanya, I've already got a doctor set up for you. Now, they're still trying to figure out if they're wanting to use you as a medical billing company. But the first thing you're going to have to do is find out some information from that doctor. Well, the way that you do that is through what's called this practice analysis questionnaire. Folks, you don't even have to know anything about medical billing. As long as you can take that sheet and flow through that sheet through there. And what you're going to end up doing is once you're going to get all this information, then you're going to get into what's called a practice analysis results and agreement. So once you get through all that, you will definitely know everything about that doctor, how you're going to be able to service that doctor, and it's going to end up in module 10 on writing a proposal. Okay, you can see there demo requests. We do all of your demonstrations. So if the doctor says, you know what, Latanya, I think I like what I'm seeing so far. You've been helping me to process everything. Gosh, I didn't realize how much money I was not collecting, but I would certainly like to see your iClaim platform. Can you do that for me? The answer is yes, because this is where ABS is going to come back in with you and help you bring that presentation to that doctor. We're going to do it through a Zoom meeting, just like what we're doing. You get to sit back and watch us go to work. And folks, there is not another organization out there that will actually be engaged with you, with your engagement with your doctor. That's one of the things that we do here at American Business Systems. Then if the implementation of the process, support, jumpstart, all that's part of that. Everything that you see here on the screen will take you probably about 2.5 weeks to get through. Okay, so just mark that down. Let's say anywhere from, I'd say anywhere from 10 to 15 days of all of that, you should be able to get through all that. And that's going to be very important as we get to the end whenever I share some more information for you. So that's it. So if you'd like to take a quick snapshot of that, you can do that. An in-depth certified, we've got this full agenda, and what I'm going to do, kind of going through this, I know I've spent a lot of time on kind of dealing with what you're going to be getting and how we're going to be setting you up. But I'm going to go through these next couple of slides here kind of rapidly, because I don't have time to take you through the entirety of the outline. Those are the 10 modules, And in each of those modules is an outline agenda. But what I'm going to share with you a little bit, just again, kind of let you peek under the hood and kind of be able to take it for a test drive and kind of everything. Now, if I get to a section where you go, oh, time out, Eric, I got a question here about this. Feel free to shoot that over to me in the Q&A box. I'm not gonna zip through all this. All right, so part of this online agenda that you're gonna be going through is truly again how you're gonna set up your business. If I had time today, I would have probably put out a poll, but let me give just an on-site poll here real quickly. I'm not going to type anything in there, but if you don't mind, and just send me an answer back in the Q&A box. Just say, I have never, if you have never set up a business before, just type in never. If you have set up a business before, just tell me that you have. That's all I need. So never or I have. That's all I want to do. Because some of you, I just want to kind of get a poll of who I'm talking to. Or am I talking to brand new entrepreneurs here? Am I talking to people who have actually done some of these before? Barry says he has. Thank you. Shuba says never. Okay. Several of you say that you have. Okay. Thank you. Anybody else that's out there? Let's see who else is out there. Got some more folks that are actually joining in here. Okay. Several of you have. Okay. That's good. That's good. Got a couple of you who've never. Some of you said barely, kind of multi-level, some contracting. Okay. So let me kind of share with you what you're getting from us. Again, we're going to help you. Some of you that have never done it, obviously, some of you probably never have set up a medical billing entity, but we're going to make sure that you know, again, the difference between your structures, your corporations, LLC, sole proprietor. Now, again, we're going to share that with you because most of us that have gone through this, we're all limited liability company. But that might not be the best thing for you. We're going to share with you, these are the things that you're going to need to go talk with your attorney or your CPA with or whoever else. But we're going to make sure that you get because you need to make sure that you get set up properly. There's no doubt. Because this, folks, this is not a side business. This is really a real business here. We're going to teach you how to make sure that you set up your business from a virtual standpoint. Virtual businesses, folks, if there was a few things good that came out of COVID, and I'd have to say this is one of them. Everybody works virtually now. So don't worry about setting up your business. I remember 10 years ago, whenever I was doing these webinars, people would be so concerned about, well, what if the doctor realizes I don't have a business? I mean, I work from home. What was it? It's, folks, that is so far gone now. Don't worry about that. And there's the rest there, making sure that you get set up with the best and appropriate customer relationship management. Matter of fact, what I've understood now, that's actually included in your packet here now, is that you're getting a CRM platform to work with. So folks, that's pretty cool. Then you're going to start learning some deep medical industry knowledge. This is just stuff that, and again, I'm not going to read these one by one, but you'll see here as I'm kind of just putting them up there. These are the things that you're going to be learning in this. If I were to take you through that big old laundry list of everything on the agenda, these are the things. But you're going to, some key components here, you're going to learn the vernacular stuff. That's the big thing. RCM, ERAs, what does CMS stand for? Some of these things that you're just going to need to know. That's why I encourage people when they've asked me, hey, could I try to go out there and go get a doctor? Well, if you don't know what a CMS 1500 form is, I'd say no, don't do that. I think that's one of the basic things out there. So just don't go out there and try to go market and try to get a doctor before you go do this, because again, you may lose the opportunity of ever getting that doctor again. They may have been one of the best payers out there. Okay. All right, so that's on the industry knowledge. There's just going to be, it's kind of like whenever I said on some of our other webinars, again, where people have asked, hey, can I go out there and go pre-market myself? I said, well, the problem is you just don't know what you don't know. And so we're going to make sure that you get all that taken care of. The practical technical training, this is really where it's getting into insurance. What are insurances? What's the difference between outsourcing and in-house billing issues? Why would a doctor want to outsource in the first place? Now, we kind of talk about that on some of our webinars. But really, whenever you get to hear from Dr. Vicki Rackner why doctors should outsource their billing and not do it in-house, it's unbelievable. And you'll hear her in a few weeks here. And then the diverse revenue streams. These are some of the topics that you're going to be learning how to do that. Folks, this is one. I'm going to pause this one right here. Probably if I did another poll out there and I asked everybody, have you ever heard of what virtual care is all about? Probably most of you would probably say, never even heard of virtual care. What is virtual care? Well, great. I'm glad you asked, because that's one of the services that you're going to actually have. And this is a way for doctors to monitor their patients that are not coming to the office. So they can do what's called remote patient monitoring. They can monitor their blood pressure, their blood sugar, their oxygen levels, their scale, to jump on a scale to get their weights. All these different things. It's almost like doing triage whenever they get to the doctor's office. You know, if you're like me, I go to the doctor's office, I take my blood pressure there at sky high. But if I come home, it's leveled out. And so that's what doctors want to know. We've actually got a service that doctors can make money on monitoring their patients while that patient's at home. There's codes for that. There's a procedure code for monitoring those patients, and we've got that for you. Again, teaches you remote patient monitoring services, quick collect and accounts receivables programs, and Audit Guard and CodeWrite, which we've already been through. For some of those that want to do dental billing, we do have some diversity in billing. Now, the difference between iClaim billing and dental billing are, again, the codes. The codes that most people are familiar with are what's called the codes of the procedure codes of the diagnosis code, specifically for the CMS 1500 form. That's the electronic format of the form that gets processed by all insurance companies. Now, dental billing is separate. Okay, you can't process dentistry using iClaim. So we've got DentaMax that actually does that. Here's the virtual care brochure that you'll have access to, quick collect. These are choice pays. You're going to learn all of these different revenue streams, and each one that you see here, each one of these has a way for you to make money and have additional income streams that's separate from iClaim, okay? So if you've not known this, again, let me get you to encourage you to go back with your sales rep and have them to explain that. All right, compliance expertise. Okay, whenever it comes down to Medicare, one of the things that you have to understand is that Medicare is always examining every penny that goes out the door. So if a doctor is sending a claim in, what are they looking for? They're making sure that those notes are matching up with the procedure codes. Okay, so we're going to explain how all of that works. We're going to make sure that you understand how the HIPAA rules and compliancy all works. Everything that happens, what we like to say, behind the glass. You know what I'm talking about. You go to the doctor's office, you're sitting in that big waiting room. The ladies are sitting there behind those sliding glass things, and everything else behind it is the doctor's office. What rules can happen in the waiting room change when you walk through that door, especially for the employees. You know, employees are not supposed to have their iPhones on or their Android phones on when they get back there, lest they end up taking a picture of something or sharing something on Facebook or something else like that. And folks, it's happened. So different rules that happen in front of the glass, different rules that happen behind the glass. We're going to teach you all of that. And that's through Compliancy Guard. And Compliancy Guard, folks, if you're looking to get started here, I'd say in the next still 60 to 90 days, this is a great opportunity for you to share this service with a doctor, because I promise you right now, doctors are having to redo their entire HIPAA rules book, their compliancy book right now. They need to retrain everybody. Make sure that all their employees have read the compliancy manual that they currently have, update it with their signatures, Do you think doctors have time to do all that, or they even remember to do that? So let me kind of give you a little bit of marketing secret that I used to do. And that is whenever I was out there marketing for doctors, obviously I was going out there to get the doctor's billing. But sometimes if you're anything like me, you're not afraid to go out there and meet people. I'd go to a doctor's office and say, "Hey, my name is Eric and I'm with so and so company. And I just want to stop by today to see if your compliancy officer is available." And I just stopped for a moment. Immediately, I got someone to come talk to me that was not the girl or the guy at the glass. I either got a manager or the billing manager, the office manager, sometimes get the doctors themselves. Why is that? Because they're afraid of HIPAA issues. And my spiel to them was this: I am a specialist whenever it comes to compliance. And I know right now is the time where you're needing to make sure that you have everything done. I'm not here to sell you any products today. All I'm here is to let you know that I'm actually holding a training class via Zoom, and I wanted you to attend. And I'm going to go over all the new rules that happens. Now, we've got all that information to share with you so you can do it yourself. Or I would say, or would there be a better time for me to come do a one-on-one with you and share this information with you? I got an audience there. And guess what? While I'm there, I'm talking to them, I'm helping them through their HIPAA rules and stuff like that, new for 2025 and 24, and whenever I was doing billing, I got the opportunity to say, and these are some of the other services that we provide. I'm the specialist in revenue cycle management. I've helped doctors recoup so much more money. And maybe one of the other things what we're doing while we're doing the compliancy updates, I've got this other service called Audit Guard, which allows me to kind of audit some of your doctor's chart notes to make sure that the doctor's not overcoding or undercoding. And it's at a very nominal price to get that done. You know, it might not hurt for you to take a look and make sure the doctor is not leaving any money on the table or potentially in danger of getting some money clawed back. That led me to another revenue stream. Eventually, many times, I'd end up with getting the doctor's billing. Why is that? Because again, I went in there trying to help them. But these are the things that you're going to learn during our training class. Folks, this is stuff that you're not going to learn at a medical billing school somewhere. And we're not going to, and you're not going to pretty much find it with any other business opportunities out there. And I'll tell you why. Because everybody that you're going to be trained by is either currently doing billing or has done billing in the past. And that's why we're so different here. You're dealing with people who are in the business or have been in the business for quite some time. Okay, now we're dealing down to marketing and patient retention. So we're going to be making sure how to help these doctors grow their business sometimes, how to make sure that the doctors are keeping their patients, because if they're losing patients, they're losing money. And so there's some awesome processes there to help the doctors understand all of that as well. I just kind of skipped through that because I can see here we only have about 12 more minutes of the webinar, and I want to make sure I've got time, plenty enough time to kind of do a wrap up with you, and to also take some of your Q&A questions here. Business development strategies. Now, this is defining your market. We want to do it with your help. You're going to find out that we're going to roll up our sleeves with you during the training to help you show yourself again that you're the expert out there. You're going to go through several practices of the practice analysis questionnaire. We'll help you know how to co-brand your books for you. And my next slide is I'm going to show you this, because one of the things that you're going to be getting from us is a way to have your name on the front cover of one of the books for yourself. This helps builds credibility for you. And we're going to show you how to do all that. All right, so let me share with you the book. It's called The New Thriving Medical Practice. Again, this book is out there. If you want to go pick it up, again, this is not a sales to sell you a book, but it is a 278-page book written by Patrick Phillips, our founder of American Business Systems, and Dr. Vicki Rackner. They went through literally months to build this book and to produce it for you. And you are going to have your co-brand on the book yourself. It will have your first and last name, CMRM, Certified Medical Revenue Manager, on the front cover of the book, because we've got a spot for you reserved for you to write the foreword to the book. Okay, now that's pretty cool. Now, the great thing about it is you're probably kind of scared to know, I've never written a foreword to a book. I don't even know what the book is all about. Well, that's okay. We actually have a templated foreword that you can actually utilize and either create or reuse if you want to. But again, when you're out there, and to kind of help some people and kind of bring the fear level down, how about if we show you how to get this book in a doctor's hand without ever visiting a doctor's office? See, those are some of the things that you're going to learn in this training that's going to help you get that done. Because eventually we want to help you learn how to build your network, create create what's called basically you are making yourself what we consider to be a lead magnet.